Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, StrangeNet here. So today I'm going to be talking about BPCs or blueprint copies, which is the follow on from the video that I did last time, which was BPOs, which was blueprint originals. So the general difference between BPOs is obviously you put them on, you research them, you sell the BPO, and with BPCs, you go out, you research the BPO or you buy the BPO, and then you run copies and sell them off. Now I prefer the BPO route personally because it's a little less hands-on, it's a little more passive. The profits are pretty good. However, there are many advantages to doing the BPC route. So as always, we're going to take a BPC. Now these are capital BPCs, but I will go through some others just to give you a rough idea. And this is a 40 run capital jump drive. And we're going to go and look in contracts, and basically we're going to find anything with 40 runs down the side here and see roughly how much they're selling for. And you can see here this is a 1020, so max runs. And there we go. So these are selling in Rens. Don't really care about Rens because I'm not in Rens. They are selling in Jitter for 6.5 million ISK. Doesn't sound too bad. Let's go and have a look at the BPO. And we're going to do it in Tama just because Tama is quick and efficient. However, it's not the safest system, so again, if you're not au fait with moving around large items or expensive items, then I wouldn't necessarily suggest Hammer. Find somewhere else where you're more comfortable doing it. However, for the sake of this video, we're going to take a look. So we're looking at roughly, or we're looking at exactly 1 day and 15 hours. So, and then we're looking at roughly 1 million ISK when we take in the sell on the contracts as well. Then we're probably, so say we're looking at what, 5.5 million ISK for a day and a half. That's not terrible ISK. Let's have a work that out. So we'll do it over 2 days just to be on the safe side, and then over 24 hours. So we're earning 114,000 ISK per hour doing that, which is pretty decent. So let's have a look at some others quickly. Let's have a look at the auto integrity. Again, they're going to do this in Tama. Just under a day and minimal installation costs. And again, what, 2 million ISK. So we're looking at 83,000 ISK per hour. And let's do one of the others. Let's do the Omen, shall we? Let's have a look. So I want to see how much these are selling for. And again, you can just type it into contracts. I'm just looking at these because these are the ones I have in my hangar and they're easy enough to find and locate. So, what, one run, 350,000 after all taxes. Let's have a look at the BPO and how long it takes to do a single run. Now, the nice thing about this is that you get to do it at all different budget styles. So, obviously, the smaller the ship, less ISK you're likely to make. So, well, that's not bad at all. So, yeah, 44. 60 divided by 44, 1.32 times a day. So you can run off 32 copies a day at 350k per pop. You're looking at 11 million ISK per day, assuming you can sell all your copies. So, again, the bigger, and it's not always the case, but the bigger or the more expensive the BPO, the less time, the more time it takes to do a copy, and potentially the larger ISK but smaller. I don't know if that makes sense. It sounds really weird saying it, but basically, obviously, this is only selling for 350k, and you need to sell all the copies you're making, so 32 a day, but you are making a very healthy profit if you can do that. So the obvious question that arises is anybody actually making ISK from doing this? And there's an easy way to find out. So take a blueprint. You may have to click on numerous blueprints in order to find something, and we're looking for basically people's names that come up relatively commonly. So we've got Steve, Blueprint Cooperative. Seems like a good place to start. So we're going to have a look at the issuer and have a look at their contracts. You can see here, well, you couldn't do, I got rid of it. See here that there is a whole list of BPCs by the look of it that have been sold by this corporation, and yeah, that's a good number. I worked it out to pretty much 100 for the entire page, and you can see the dates on here. So on the 27th we sold 3, 26th they were about what, 10 sold, 25, 24, etc, etc. So got a good number here since the 19th they've been selling. Again, these are what, 40 runs, and they're selling them for 8 million ISK. How long did we say it took to do a 40 run? Copy if we're doing it as quickly as we can. 40 runs is just over nigh on 2 days. And this is a good way of giving yourself an idea of what things roughly sell for on a baseline. So capital jump drives are selling for 8. The capital armor plates are selling for much less. Construction plates less. Jump drives more. You get the general idea. But basically you can just go through. But obviously this gives you an idea that they actually do sell. Now, there's 100 or so on this page for the last, say, at 5 million ISK after prices, etc., costs. And what we're looking, what, 5 million times 100. So this guy's made about 500 million ISK from doing this. So there is this to be made if you're willing to put in the obviously the effort to copy them and then obviously bring them back to sell them. So the reason I don't do blueprints copies particularly often is not because there is a potential ISK to be made, it's because of the following. So I've got a 40 run here at Capital Computer. I'm going to find it in contracts for how much they're roughly selling for a 40 run, which is 4.24 million ISK. Now I don't want to use blueprint, I want to set it up as a contract. Public, was it 4.23 million ISK? I want it over the course of a week, and it's a 1020. Relatively swift to do, but again, you start doing that at any great quantity, and it starts to take a lot of time, and it is particularly annoying. You don't have this issue when doing BPOs. Now, the secondary issue that you run into is that with half decent skills, contracting, I've got level 4 skills, so I can have a maximum of 21 outstanding orders. I've got 17 at level 5, so you can very quickly end up filling this up. So basically, until your contract sells, you can't sell any more or put any more on the market. So as an individual, you can only have 21 maximum contracting orders. However, there is a workaround for this, and that if you have your own corporation, you can basically have a maximum of 500. And in order to do this, basically, we need to do the following. Have an alt, take the blueprints you want to take across, create contract, my corporation, clickety-click, done. Thank you very much. That is then now to my corporation. So now back on the main character, I need to go to finance contracts. Here we are. Double click, and this time I accept to corp, and that will put them in the corporate hangar, which is down the bottom here in corporate deliveries. We can see there we've got the Drekovacs, and this will give you a lot more open orders. So let me just check the price of this. Put these on for 12. So create, and you can see down here at the bottom I'm at level 4 with this, so I've got a maximum of 50 for this character, and you can have as many characters obviously in the corporation doing this or putting it to the corporation, so you can raise them as required. I'm going to put the type there because it's not important, and that way when you create it, so say it's on behalf of the corporation, and you get many more, which is how you have some individuals with hundreds of items up, and again, not just your actual character, which can only have 21. So that does give you a lot more open orders if you want to do this at any kind of scale. Again, so what, 500 level 4 would be what, 8 characters? 8 plus the extra would be what, another 140 on top, so you'd have 650 outstanding contract items that you could raise at any one time. Now, it's not much fun obviously raising that many, but the point being is that it is entirely possible, and the option is there if you want to exercise it. Now, the nice thing about contracts, or the bad thing about contracts, depending how you look at it, is once it's listed, basically you either have to take it down entirely in order to re-raise it, or yeah, you just wait for it to sell. So you can see here that 12 days ago I put this Ansure on to sell, hasn't sold, but you're not constantly fighting the market to try and be number one, because once you put it on, you're kind of locked there until you either take it down or it sells. So there's a lot less market competition in general, but you decide whether it's worth it. So that is how to do it with BPCs. Now, as I said at the start, and I'll say it again, I don't generally do the BPCs because I find it a lot of work. It's quite tedious, all the copying, moving it back, checking the market, putting it on for sale. But again, once you've got your blueprint already researched, obviously the ISK is pretty quick. There's a lot less hassle or a lot less risk than keeping BPOs, which can take months to research for some of them, researching in random stations. If it's not an NPC station, obviously, then there is a possibility of it being destroyed, captured, or ended up in asset safety, where obviously if you've got the BPCs, it's much quicker to get them out unless you're putting them in for a month. You can see returns a lot quicker, and it's constant. Once you've obviously done it, you've got the BPO there for pretty much ever, and you could be running copies continuously to your heart's content. And that way you've got a solid source of income constantly trickling in, where obviously, as I said prior, some BPOs can take months to sell, some fly off the shelves faster than you can actually produce them. But with BPCs, obviously, if you're getting quite a stock of them, you can hold them until the market comes back to you and it's at a price that you're willing to sell for, or you just bang them out at whatever it is, because again, as long as the BPO is paying for itself over time, then you can buy more BPOs, different items, and rinse and repeat, and it slowly pays off the BPO over time, and that way, so I say, you can build up quite a library. So yeah, all good. So I hope that was interesting. Again, it's not something I do a great deal with BPCs, but there are obviously, as we saw, some corporations, companies that do take it to the extreme and make a decent amount of ISK per month just by doing a few copies here, there, and everywhere, running them off, max runs, sell them on the market. So I hope that was interesting. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll talk to you again soon.